Welcome back to Brandon Sports, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing day. I'm here for my NFL wildcard playoff predictions. We have a great slate of games for everybody to watch. I'm excited about wildcard weekend. It's playoff time. Everybody's excited. This is really considered wildcard weekend, but it's really week 19. But it's wildcard weekend. We have all of the games. We have the Rams at the Panthers Saturday. We have the Packers at the Bears. Those are the two games that will be on Saturday. On Sunday, we have the Bills at the Jaguars. Then we have the 49ers at the Eagles. Then we have the Chargers at the Patriots. And then on Monday Night Football playoff game, we have the Texans at the Steelers. So we're going to go over all of these games. And we're going to be back after all these games are done to the recap and give you my instant reaction to those games. Now, first game that we're going to start off with is the Rams at the Panthers. This is kind of the easiest game that you can pick of the week. And here's why. The Rams lost to the Panthers weeks ago. That was Matthew Stafford threw the 2 interceptions and fumbled the football, and they lost. Now, this is all on Matthew Stafford and the Rams and Sean McVay. You cannot, if you're Matthew Stafford and the Rams, you cannot lose to the Panthers in the playoffs with this team being 8-9. They lost to the Panthers in week 13, by the way. They lost 31-28. This time around, it's the playoff time. If Matthew Stafford, even though it's regular season, and I separate playoffs from regular season. Regular season MVP, again, I have Drake May. But for this particular game, your quote, maybe future MVP, cannot go into this game if he's the MVP of the regular season. That's a big if. If he's the MVP of the regular season, he can't come into this game losing to an 8-9 team. Again, listen, the Panthers had a phenomenal season, if you want to put it, because nobody expected them to be 8-9. Nobody expected them to win the division. Again, they're 8-9, but you got to give them the credit. This is a rebuilding team that went on to be the winner of their division. Now, this is all about the Rams. The only way for Bryce Young to win this game is that the Carolina Panthers defense will have to basically stop Matthew Stafford. Everything that Matthew Stafford's been doing this entire season, the Panthers are going to have to stop everything that they've been doing. Their offense, again. Now, the Panthers defense plays well, but the Panthers offense has to step up. The Rams have a great defense too, but they can be had in some situations. Again, the Panthers defense play well. Their offense has got to get going. Bryce Young cannot mess up in this game. I say this every single week when it comes to any quarterback. This entire win is going to be on Matthew Stafford. But if the Panthers even want a shot to win this game, they have to, and I mean have to, protect Bryce Young. He can't be getting hit and pop. Because once you get to Bryce Young, him being short like that, hitting him like that, it's over. You have got to protect him. Leggett, their wide receiver, Xavier Leggett, got to step up. McMillan's already good number 4 who I like. Y'all know I like number 4 wide receiver from the Panthers. They have to be sensational to win this game. I'm not picking them. I'm picking the Rams to win this game, but the Rams just have to dominate this game point blank. This game should really be a domination by the by the Rams to get their revenge back. Again, I don't really see it. The Panthers winning this game. If the Panthers win this game, something went wrong. Something bad happened. I just don't see it. But the Rams are the better team. They're 12-5, 5-4 on the road. Again, the Panthers are 5-3 at home, but this game is all about Matthew Stafford and winning. And if the Panthers win, that means Bryce Young must do for like 400 yards and had like 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and their defense basically shut the Rams down. That's all that's going to happen for the Panthers to win. Bryce Young has to play out of his mind, and the Matthew Stafford has to play his worst game of his career. And is he going to play like that? The answer is no. Now, if he does, I'm going to rip him a new one, though. I'll tell you that much. But, again, this is pretty simple. The Rams should win this game against the Panthers. Good enough for the Panthers to actually get to the playoffs, but the Rams should all in all win this football game. Their defense is better, their offense is better, offensive line is better, their wide receivers are better, the tight ends are better. Everything about the Rams are better. They got beat in week 13, but it's a totally different scenario now. Again, congratulations to the Panthers to get in the playoffs. Bryce Young, to me, you deserve more time. Don't let anybody tell you that he don't deserve more time. He deserves more time. But in this instance, the Rams should win this game basically in a blowout, especially if the Panthers defense don't play well. Next game we have up is the Packers and the Bears. Now, this is going to be very, very challenging for the Packers. I know you guys are going to say the Bears. The Bears defense is horrible. They're number one in takeaways, but they're just horrible overall. The Packers is going to be difficult for them because they don't put any pressure on the quarterback. Michael Parsons is gone. The Packers should win this game, even though they haven't been playing well enough, in my opinion, these past couple weeks. They're 9-7. The Bears won more games. I think the Packers are the favorite, even though I don't really do the whole favorite thing. But the Bears have won more games than the Packers. I understand Michael Parsons was hurt, But coming into the season, everybody thought, except for the Detroit Lions winning division, which I had to win the division, I had the Packers second, the Bears third with a positive record, not making the playoffs but a positive record, and then I had the Vikings fourth. Obviously, you guys know my criticism of J.J. McCarthy. But if you're looking at these teams, the Packers should win, even though they have less wins. The Packers should win based off the team. Nobody expected Chicago to be the number 2 seed. Nobody expected Chicago and Caleb Williams to be this far ahead. Even with Ben Johnson, unless you're a Bears fan, but nobody expected the Bears to be a team that was going to just come up and be the second seed, being 11-6. This is not a must-win for the Chicago Bears because the Chicago Bears are basically the underdog. People saying that they're being disrespected. Yeah, you won more games, but look at the totality of those games. Look at the talent on the roster. The defense is awful. The offense is barely getting by. I mean, they're a good offense. Just in general, offense line has improved. Caleb Williams improved, but his completion percentage is kind of down a little bit. Then when you look at their wide receivers, DJ Moore and Romo Dunzier was hurt a lot. The other receivers stepped up. Yes, they did. But if you look at the overall talent of these teams, you're going to say Green Bay is better no matter what. The Green Bay Packers, if I look at their schedule right now as I'm talking to you guys, I look at their schedule, the losses that they have. They lost to Cleveland. They should have never lost to Cleveland. And by the way, when you go back and look at this tie, they should never tied with Dallas. They should have beat Dallas 40-40. Then they lost to the Carolina Panthers. They should have never lost that game. Then they had faced against Philadelphia. Okay, fine, you can lose against Philly. But then they lost their last 4 games. They lost to Denver, Chicago, Baltimore, and they lost to Minnesota. They lost their last 4 games. That's why their record is the way that it is. And their team was a little banged up. That's not an excuse, but their team was banged up. And by the way, I don't think this should be the case, but Matt LaFleur's job's on the line, which I don't get that. Because his team has been banged up. He deserves another year. Now, a contract extension, I don't know, but just give him, he's in second to last year in the contract. He deserves to finish out his contract then. But being in the hot seat, I don't like it. It's not on Matt LaFleur. Some of the coaching and stuff like that, you can say to that, yes. But to be fired is wrong. The Packers should win. The Bears might win, but I'm picking the Packers to win. They have the better team. Defensively, again, they can't get pressure from when they have Micah Parsons, but the team overall is a better team than the Chicago Bears. Jordan Love has to play out of his mind. We can't keep letting Jordan Love just lose and be like, oh, well, fine, hey, fine. No. Jordan Love has to step up in this game. Again, Caleb Williams has no pressure. He's in his second year. The mere fact that he's here as the second seed goes to show you how great Ben Johnson is. Doesn't mean that they have pressure in a playoff game because think about it. For the next couple of years, if they continue to keep building with Caleb Williams being in a rookie contract, they're going to be even better next year. That's why it's time for Green Bay to cash in now. And next year, too, because remember, you got to win when you traded for Micah Parsons. You got to win, too. So the next 2 years, these two teams are going to go back and forth. You still have Detroit, and then you got Minnesota. If they get a quarterback, it's going to be tough. The Green Bay Packers might not get back here based on money spending or whatever the case may be. The Green Bay Packers have to win this game. Their defense is better than Chicago's defense, although, they're not getting the same amount of pressure. Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. No disrespect to Caleb. I like Caleb, but Jordan Love is still a better quarterback. The Packers just have to win. It's just simple as that. Their team is better. They have to win. I know they're 9-7, but Green Bay has to win. There's no pressure on Chicago. Just because the game is in Chicago doesn't mean nothing. Home field advantage, yes, but the Packers have to win. Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, this is going to be on them. No matter what happens, which is unfair, no matter what happens and what they say, this is going to be on Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love if they don't win. You cannot let a second-year quarterback come in and just win. And it's the same thing for another game, which we'll get to. But overall, my pick is the Packers simply because their roster right now is still better than Chicago. They have more experience than Chicago. Chicago is a great story. They'll be a great story for the next couple of years. But right now, the Packers have to go in and win. I'm taking the Packers in this football game. Next up, we have the Bills and the Jaguars. We have Trevor Lawrence versus Josh Allen. 13-4 Jaguars, 7-2 at home. 12-5 Buffalo Bills, 5-3 on the road. For me, this is pretty much simple. The Jacksonville Jaguars have to win this game. And by the way, I know this is a double thing, which is not unfair. If Josh Allen does not play well, I don't want to hear that he ain't got no receivers because when he won the MVP, that was his case to win the MVP over Lamar Jackson. When Lamar Jackson threw 41 touchdowns and he didn't get the MVP and Josh Allen didn't even make first team All-Pro and Lamar did, they said, well, look what he did with less. So now that he did more with less, look, he has to go out there being a MVP. This is not the same thing as Drake May, so don't even compare the two. Josh Allen has to go out there and play well. Now, if he goes out there and plays well, and he still loses, he's going to get some blame, but he's not going to get all the blame. The person who's going to really get the blame is Sean McDermott. Your head coach is going to get the blame. But for this game in particular, the Jacksonville Jaguars have to win. It's a home playoff game. You're 13-4. You can't lose to a team that's 12-5, even though that's one more win and one less loss. Trevor Lawrence, you got to keep it going. People are going to look at you and say, is this your moment? Or are you going to go back to being the quarterback that's, he's okay, but he's just not, he's not giving me enough. There's not enough substance. There's not more sizzle with him. You've been cooking these last 8 games. You only had 1 turnover and about, 10 touchdowns and 1 turnover? You've been phenomenal. Can you continue to be phenomenal this upcoming Sunday? Can you beat Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills? My answer is yes. I'm picking the Jags to win. This is simple. You rely on your defense. Do not turn the ball over, which goes for every quarterback. I've been saying it. Rely on the defense. You got some good wide receivers. You and Thomas Jr. have got to get on the same page. Parker Washington has been playing phenomenal. Run that ball with Travis Etienne. This Buffalo Bills defense ain't great, and they can be had. Let's not get it twisted. Jacksonville is the better team. It's just what quarterback is going to play well in this game. Now, the defense of Buffalo can be had again. But again, it's Josh Allen still on the other side. He comes back in the fourth quarter. And that's one thing, too. If the Jacksonville Jaguars are up in this game and it's the fourth quarter, you can't let up. You got to continue to keep going. But this game, to me, is about a Trevor Lawrence showcase. It is about Josh Allen, too. But the showcase is going to be Trevor Lawrence. You can't let another guy come inside your home and beat you in the playoffs after you worked this hard to even get there. When you've been playing out of your mind. Are you going to go back to the quarterback that you were, turning the ball over and not being enough? Or are you going to be the quarterback that says, I have arrived now, and Josh Allen, it's not a thing of the past, I'm not going to be disrespectful, but Josh Allen just not your year. And he's going to get criticized too. It's unfair, but it is fair at the same time. You're an MVP, you're going to criticize. The same thing with Lamar Jackson. Are you going to blame Lamar Jackson for this Ravens season? No, you're not. But you're still going to criticize him for the way that it went. You're not going to give him all the blame. You're going to blame John Harbaugh, which he got fired. And then you're going to blame Lamar Jackson a little bit when the next coach comes, because that is going to be true. When the next Ravens coach comes, it's going to be all Lamar Jackson. Now, if the Buffalo Bills do lose this game, I'm picking Jacksonville. But if Buffalo loses this game, Sean McDermott might get fired, because the quarterback's going to take some of the blame, but the coach is going to be kicked out because he's going to receive the majority. It's the same thing like the Baltimore Ravens situation. I'm telling you guys right now, they might fire Sean McDermott if the Buffalo Bills don't win. But it's simple. Josh Allen has to be amazing. He has to be quote-unquote Superman, as they've been saying, like Cam Newton was in Carolina. He has to be Superman. Josh Allen has to be Superman for this team to win, because Jacksonville Jaguars have been playing phenomenal. Again, Trevor Lawrence, I'm picking Jacksonville, but Trevor Lawrence has to be the deciding factor of this game. And do you trust him to be the deciding factor? We'll see about that. And this week, I'm going to put my trust in Trevor Lawrence to win this game, because I think Jacksonville really needs it. The city of Jacksonville needs it. Jacksonville, Florida. And not only that, but Trevor Lawrence needs it for his legacy. What is your legacy? What are you going to be defined as? Josh Allen's legacy is cemented. He's an MVP that just doesn't win in the playoffs, right, as his second. Trevor Lawrence's, man, you up and down in the regular season, and when you get to the playoffs, we don't even care. Make people care about Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's what's needed. Jacksonville's defense is playing well. Again, Buffalo's defense could be had. This should be not a blowout game, but this game should not be quote-unquote close if Trevor Lawrence does his thing. I'm picking the Jacksonville Jaguars to win this game against the Buffalo Bills. Next up, we have the 49ers at the Eagles. Now, for me, I have concerns about the 49ers offense going up against the Eagles defense, because the Eagles defense is lights out. Now, I trust Robert Saleh to do something against this Eagles offense, because they haven't been meshing all year. And this is the problem. I said last week that they should have played their starters because they would have been a second seed. And if they were the second seed, they would be playing the Packers. And then it would have been a little bit more easier for Green Bay. Now, easier for the Philadelphia Eagles going against Green Bay, but because they didn't do that, now you're in the third spot. And now you're facing the 49ers. Now, for me, the Eagles defense is all world again. I'm concerned about the Eagles offense. You get Lane Johnson back, which is a great thing at the right tackle position, but when you look at their chemistry that they had all year, I just don't see it. Robert Saleh is going to do something. I don't think this is going to be a blowout as people think it's going to be. I think Brock Purdy is probably going to struggle a little bit, but I think at the end, he'll make some plays. Again, I don't know about this Philly team. They just don't seem like they got it. I'm not rooting against Philly. I don't root against any team. But it just seems like Philadelphia has been too up and down all year for them to get into the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, now the offense is rolling. Now we're going to turn the switch and then they get back to Super Bowl. If that happens, then I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to think. But for me, I trust Philly's defense. I trust Robert Saleh, even though the 49ers can't get no pressure, no sacks. But because the way this Eagles offense is playing, I'm going to pick the 49ers. I know that's a far stretch. I know that's a lot. But I'm going to pick the 49ers. I trust Brock Purdy right now, right this second, today. It's not an indictment on Jalen Hurts. It's for the season it is. But for the overall totality of this season, I trust Brock Purdy more than I trust Jalen Hurts. It's not to put him down. I think the world of Jalen Hurts. Coming into the season, had him as a top 5 quarterback. Right now, it's about Brock Purdy and the Niners and this offense. I know they got shut out by Seattle and that defense, but this to me is going to be different. Seattle's offense can actually score. I mean, they only scored 13 points. The 49ers did enough. It's just their offense didn't do enough, which it could be the same replication of that game, but I just trust Brock Purdy. It was a bad outing. This week, I'm picking an upset. I'm picking the 49ers to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Brock Purdy has to be all-world again. He has to put the team on his back. I know he has George Kittle. I know he has Christian McCaffrey. But he's got to put his team on the back. Don't make no mistakes. You can't fumble the ball. You can't be getting popped. You got to get rid of the football. Jalen Hurts, in order for Philadelphia to win this game, he just got to score. That's it. All Jalen Hurts has to do in this game is score. And that's it because of the defense. If they don't score, it's going to be a hard game and a hard out for Philadelphia. Again, the 49ers, what they have to do, Robert Saleh got to dial something up. And not only that, Brock Purdy has to be all-world. And I think he's going to be all-world in this game. Again, you guys might not agree with me. I'm picking the 49ers. I believe in Brock Purdy more so in an offense than I believe in Jalen Hurts and Philly's offense. To me, they just seem like they ain't got no chemistry at all. And that's the most upsetting part about it. I'm picking Brock Purdy. I might be wrong, but I ride him with Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers in this game. So next up, we have the Chargers at the Patriots. Now, for me in this game, there's two outcomes going to happen if one of these teams loses. If the Patriots lose, they're going to use the MVP case against Drake May, saying he's never MVP. The same thing that they did with Jokic and Joel Embiid. When Joel Embiid won the MVP, and after he won that MVP, he went to the playoffs and didn't play well. They said, well, Jokic should have won. No. Drake May's the MVP. Patriots fan watching, if you guys are watching, I believe that Drake May's the MVP. If he loses this game and doesn't play well, they're going to look at him and say, you're a fraudulent MVP candidate. That's not fair. The regular season is the regular season. The postseason is the postseason. Leave it at that. Again, do I think there's much pressure on Drake May? There's a little bit of pressure on him, but there's more pressure on Justin Herbert because of his playoffs acumen. He's 0-2 in the playoffs. His record, 0-2. He has not played well in the playoffs. 52% of his passes completion, not good at all. He's going to get a lot of the blame, not Jim Harbaugh. But when it comes to the Patriots, again, they're going to try to use the Drake May MVP case against him, even though that's not fair. When it comes to Justin Herbert, even though he has an excuse with his offensive line and it being the actual playoffs, and the playoffs are different from the regular season, they're not going to give him any excuses because, well, you didn't have Rashawn Slater all year. You didn't have Joe Alt for basically half the year. They're going to be incredibly unfair to Justin Herbert when it comes to him in this game. Now, if he wins, they're going to probably crap all over New England. So this is kind of really like a lose-lose situation for both teams. But if we really look at it, everybody knows the Chargers is coming into these playoffs banged up. We all know it. We're just not going to give them the excuse. I am because I see it and I give context. A lot of people don't want to give context. They just want to run out with an opinion and don't give context to the situation. The situation is, even though he's been playing, my left hand's broken. My offensive line is bad. New England spent over $100 million on their defense. If they come after me all game and I get no protection and he getting his ass whooped, what you going to say about Justin Herbert? He still has to pull it out. He still has to be a Superman. No, in this case, no. He's the only one in this entire weekend that if the defense is all over him this entire week, he has an excuse. And maybe Brock Purdy a little bit, but not really Brock Purdy, but just Justin Herbert. The broken hand, the offensive line being hurt, left tackle and right tackle. They can't block worth a damn. Like, it's just everything, every excuse that you could give to Justin Herbert should be allowed, but because he is Justin Herbert and people think that he's overrated, they're going to criticize him and rip him apart. This is different from Josh Allen. Josh Allen won an MVP. He didn't. He has good wide receivers. Obviously, they say Josh Allen doesn't. So for me, even though you expect the Chargers to win this game, I'm picking the Patriots to win this game because I trust Mike Vrabel more in this spot. I trust New England's offense, Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson. I trust them a lot. I trust Stephon Diggs. I trust Henry. I trust the O-line now that you get Will Campbell back at the left tackle spot. I trust this defense more. I trust that the New England Patriots are not what people would say, oh, they're fraudulent. They had an easy schedule. Listen, man, they were fourth place. When you're fourth place in the NFL, you're going to get an easy schedule no matter what. I hate when people say, oh, they had a fourth place because they had an easy schedule. Well, guess what? Drake May was there when they went last in division last year. You guys know after that third game against the Jets, Jacoby Brissett stopped playing and they gave the keys to Drake May. They earned the right to be in the second spot. They earned it. Because the reason why you guys are using it against them, because you guys didn't expect them to be this good. I expected New England to make the playoffs and fight between them and Jacksonville to get to the playoffs. I expected New England to be second in this division. They just did first. They went even above what I expected them to do. I believe that they were a playoff team before the season started. People didn't believe in this team so much that now they're shocked that they're here and then they want to use the schedule against them. No, you can't do that. You can't use the schedule against somebody when you didn't believe in them in the first place. Now that they're here, you got to give them the credit for fighting through it. So for me, I trust the Patriots. I trust their roster more. A lot of their players, again, they're back. You're getting Milton Williams back. You get Christian Gonzalez not hurt. This team is very, very good defensively. I think this team, with Mike Vrabel being here this year, they're 14-3. To me, they're not banged up like the Chargers are. The Chargers are going to get the excuse that they're banged up. New England is going to have to go in here, and they're going to have to win it. And I believe that the New England Patriots will win it because they just have the better team. Again, it's not to me, it's not the Chargers' time. Now, I might be wrong, but it's not the Chargers' time for me. All in all, I'm picking the Patriots to win this game against the Los Angeles Chargers. That's my pick for this game. Next up, the Houston Texans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, for me, both of these O-lines are going to be in trouble. Now, Aaron Rodgers is going to be in trouble because his O-line ain't going to be able to block Will Anderson Jr. and Daniel Hunter. They both have over 10 sacks together. Like, individually, Will Anderson Jr., I'm looking at it right now, he has 12 sacks on the season. Daniel Hunter has 15 sacks on the season. This is a huge D-line. People don't understand, like, this D-line will get after Aaron Rodgers. However, if you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cam Hayward and the way that they're playing, and you have T.J. Watt back after he had that collapsed lung and he played last week, you have Cameron Hayward, you have T.J. Watt, you still have Patrick Queen on this team, you still have Alex Highsmith on the team that's going to get after the quarterback. This game is really going to come down to both of these offensive lines. Now, this defense against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense can be had. Their secondary is awful. No disrespect to Jalen Ramsey, but, I mean, their secondary could be had. Now, in order for the Texans to win this game, they have to be all-world. Nico Collins, C.J. Stroud has to be all-world. I don't trust their running game, too. Now, I know they have Woody Marks. They got Jordan. They have Nick Chubb. I just didn't think they have enough in the running game. Now, their passing game is okay. I like Nico Collins. I like Jaden Higgins. I like Jalen Noel. I like those receivers. Tank Dell will be back next year. Christian Kirk ain't really do nothing this year. Dalton Schultz, but your offensive line is really the question mark, and it's the same thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their offensive line is a question mark. Aaron Rodgers gets DK Metcalf back in this game, which is a good thing. But for me, this is going to be a D-line heavy game. And I think Aaron Rodgers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are going to pull it out just because you get DK back. So now you have Adam Thielen. Even though he's an old wide receiver, you still give him room to do his stuff. You still got to focus on DK. With the Houston Texans, you got to focus on Nico Collins. Their running game, to me, ain't that great. The Pittsburgh Steelers actually been running the ball pretty well this entire, not the entire year, but Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell have been running the ball decently, especially last week against the Baltimore Ravens. They're running the ball against the Detroit Lions, even though it's a whole totally different line. I know it's a different defensive line, but Aaron Rodgers had to take advantage of the Houston Texans in their secondary. This is going to be a tough game. To me, I don't think it's going to be a blowout at all. This is going to be a very, very tough game. This is going to be a defensive-heavy game. To me, this game might end 10-7 or 13-10 or whatever the score might be. I don't know what the score is going to be, but for me, this is going to be a very, very heavily defensive game. Both of these D-lines are probably going to get sacked the quarterback, but for me, if you're asking me when it comes down to both of these offenses and who you trust, no disrespect to C.J. Stroud, Aaron Rodgers has been playing well, and C.J. Stroud has been playing well too, but I trust Aaron Rodgers more in this predicament than I would C.J. Stroud. Not because he's a young guy and go against a veteran. I just trust what Aaron Rodgers can do in a playoff setting versus C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud has done a phenomenal job these past couple years being in the playoffs. 10-7, 10-7, playoff win. This year might be different because I just don't think enough of the Houston Texans offense besides Nico Collins. But I don't really think much about the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, but DK Metcalf and I guess Adam Thielen and Gainwell and these guys, I think they'll be more prepared. And another thing is, too, I believe that Mike Tomlin really needs this win. Nobody's going to judge the Houston Texans for losing this game, unless you're a Houston Texans fan, but nobody's going to blame Houston. Why? Why they're not going to blame Houston? Because you started off 0-3. The last quarterback to start off 0-3 and make it to the playoffs was Deshaun in Houston. That's the last Houston team that went 0-3, and he made it to the playoffs, and he was playing phenomenal, was Deshaun Watson. That was the last Houston team that did that. So C.J. Stroud does that now, and if they lose, there's really no pressure on your coach, on D'Amico Ryans. They're not going to get fired. You're just going to say, guess what? In the offseason and in the draft, we're going to have to buffer up our offensive line. And once you buff up the offensive line, C.J. Stroud then has enough. It's just offensive line is not good. Now, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is on Aaron Rodgers because this might be his last ride, or he might come back next year. But again, who needs this victory more when it comes down to picking this game? It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who has the better defense? The Houston Texans. Who needs it more and who should win should be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even though they went 10-7 and the Texans are 12-5, the Steelers need it more. Mike Tomlin needs it more. This Pittsburgh team, to me, is going to come out with the victory. Again, there's nothing against the Houston Texans. To me, the Chargers get a lot of excuses, but Houston gets a lot of excuses too because they're a young team and nobody expects Houston to do anything. If you expect Houston to do something, then that's different. But if you have no expectations for Houston Texans besides the defense, there's really nothing to complain about. If you look at it technically in NFL history, they're lucky to be here. So this is going to be a defensive-driven game no matter what, and I think at the end of the game, Aaron Rodgers is going to turn back the clock and they'll win the game. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm picking the Steelers to win this game. I believe that they should win this game because of Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin's experience alone. If that's going to be enough to carry them, we don't know, but that's how I'm thinking it through. Again, Steelers over the Texans in this football game coming up. So let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about all of these games. Let me know your pick for the Rams and the Panthers, for the Packers and the Bears, Bills and the Jaguars, 49ers and Eagles, Chargers and Patriots, and the Texans and the Steelers. Let me know your game pick down below. Or let me know if you guys think I'm wrong in my game picks. But let me know in the comments down below how you guys feel about this entire wild card weekend. Please hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button to the channel for more great content coming up. Until next time, guys, I'll see you real soon.